Hi there, and welcome to my channel. This is Rachel with Creative Birth and Creative Parenting. I'm here today with our special guest, Josie Chorley, who is a homeopath who has helped with our family in particular with homeopathy issues. And also, we have done one of Josie's courses. So, here I would like to introduce you to Josie. And would you like to tell us about yourself and what you do, Josie?
Hi Rachel, thank you for inviting me on. Yeah, I'm a homeopath. I qualified back in 2003, having done a degree in health science. I was around 30 and I just really thought I'd want to go back to, go to university and get a degree. So I thought, right, okay, so the opportunity came up with part-time degree course, which was hooked onto the homeopathy license to practice. And yeah, 5 years it took, and got all my paperwork to say I can be let loose on the public. And then your real training starts then, really, when you put your books down and start seeing patients in the flesh, really. But it's been an amazing journey, and I've no regrets at all. It's been fabulous seeing people get well.
Oh wow, that's amazing. And
Yeah.
what made you think to do homeopathy?
Used to work in the city, so it's a completely different um, path
Complete.
to take. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I've no regrets. I love working in the city. I had the best time. I was in the 80s in the heyday. But it got to around the late 90s, and I just used to see some of the women coming in, and then we put the children into nurseries and creche or leave them with, childminders from say 7 in the morning, maybe not seeing them till 7 o'clock at night. And I
Yeah.
just thought, oh, if I'm ever blessed with children, I really wouldn't want that. I do love working, but I just wouldn't want 12 hours of my day not around any potential children. So I just started to look for. I didn't actually know what I was going to do, and then I went away on holiday. I came out of a long relationship, um, and I don't know if anyone else has been there, but all I wanted to do was just go and lay around the pool for a week and read books. I was just
Oh,
really, I didn't know where I wanted to go in life. Life changed dramatically.
mhm.
So while sitting around the pool in Gran Canaria, I could see this elderly gentleman just walking around talking to everyone, and I was feeling really antisocial at the time, and I was thinking, please don't come here and talk to me. I was just in that space. But he did, and he plonked himself on the end of my sunbed, and
Oh,
yeah, there's a bit of synchronicity really, and he obviously looked at how disillusioned I was and just went away, came back and threw this little book at me. And it was by a really famous homeopath called George Vitukas. And it's only a little paper book. And I read it and I couldn't put it down. And it was
oh
all
wow.
about homeopathy. Yeah, and it was all about way of life, how to just really resonated with me. So I literally came back off the holiday, started to investigate courses, and then literally 3 months later, I enrolled to
Oh
become a
wow.
homeopath. Yeah, so it's a very
Amazing.
strange story. Yeah, but his speciality, he was a vet in Ireland, Southern Ireland, and he used to
Oh,
work with the animals and the racehorses using homeopathy.
oh wow. Okay. So it's
Yeah,
something that you can use for animals as well.
yeah, yeah, and it's the same tablets as well, whether it's for
Oh,
human consumption or animals as well.
oh, that's so interesting. So you can use it on your pets then if you've got pets at
Yes,
home. Oh, that's
yes,
amazing.
yeah,
So,
both my dogs. Yeah,
you use it on your dogs.
yeah.
Okay. And that's just such a huge turnaround. It's almost like you were kind of changed from one direction to a complete other direction.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was really weird because for the first 3 years of the course, I was still working in the city, but I was
Oh
funded. It was
wow.
a part-time degree course, so I was still funding myself. So I'd
Oh,
have these wonderful holistic weekends and 2 days a week, no, a day in the week with all these holistic people, and then I'd be back in the city for 4 days,
oh
and
wow.
the polarity was just off the scale. But it worked, and then my son was born also halfway through the course.
Oh wow.
I know. So something had to give, and
Yeah.
it wasn't going to be the baby. It wasn't my homeopathy. So I
Yeah.
literally resigned and got myself like a student loan, and yeah, just
Finished off.
carried on with the course, and here we go. Yeah.
Amazing. And so you've been then seeing clients since then?
Yes. And as I always thought that the practice would grow the rate that my son did. I didn't want to be massively, well, you never be going to be massively busy at the beginning. It takes a while to establish yourself and build your clientele.
Sure.
But then as he's got older, obviously more referrals and things like that. And now what we're doing now, 20 years, 20 odd years later, 20 years, yeah, now.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I've got a really busy clinic now in East Herts, based in East Herts, working with all sorts of people, mainly children and women. But
Yeah.
the lovely thing I've seen over the last 3 years is actually more men realising that they would like to actually come and talk about their problems, which I think has always been a real problem for the majority of men, isn't it? So they just want to, even worse than we are, quick fixes. They want, oh, just give me a tablet. I haven't got time to talk about my problems.
Yeah. So this is really different. So would you say people come to you like when they might have gone to see a doctor, or have they already been to see a doctor and they're not sure where to go next, or
It's a bit
how
of a
do
mixture. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a bit of a mixture. A lot of people are a little bit disillusioned about how the health service is going
yeah,
and the lack of support, especially in mental and emotional issues.
yeah, okay.
People down walking into a doctor's clinic now with that, dare you cry, he's writing you a prescription out before he's even realised why, you just put you on antidepressants straight away.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's not a place for conventional medicine, but when it comes to mental and emotional, you're just masking the symptoms. Whereas in homeopathy, you get to the cause and the triggers, and then you can move people on.
Right.
Um,
So when somebody comes to you with maybe a physical ailment that isn't going away, or that they haven't, maybe it's niggling and it's not quite bad enough to go and see a doctor, but it's sort of there in the back, you'd then be able to discuss like when it started maybe, and find a little bit more information about the illness and how it can be treated then. Is that, yeah.
yeah, when in homeopathy, it's a different way of looking at your health. So you treat the person with the symptoms as opposed to a disease name or a condition. So many people realise they don't feel well, but they go to the doctors and they have tests for this, tests for their scans, and nothing ever shows up, but they still feel unwell. And that's the start of what we call chronic illness. You know your body. So the beautiful thing about the homeopathy is that we literally just take those symptoms so that person is out of balance. Because that's what the remedies do. They don't do the work of the body. They actually tap into the body's ability to fix itself. So if they've got a few niggling, maybe the joints are starting to ache, or they might have tummy issues, but they've never been well since. If you can get it back to something like that, that's really powerful. And then we prescribe the remedy that best suits that person, how they're presenting that day. And
Okay.
then you tapping into the body's systems, all systems. The immune system, I think, is made up of the endocrine system, the lymphatic system, is made up of all of the systems. It's not just an immune system. And so you feed the body what it needs to literally get itself back into balance again. And then the symptoms just go. It's wonderful.
That's fantastic. So I'm sure you've seen a lot of success over the years with your treatments.
I have, and it's really wonderful to see, especially when you're dealing with like little ones or babies,
Mm.
and then the parents get to witness how well the children do on the remedies. And then the chances are that child will stay with homeopathy throughout their life.
Yes.
I've got lads and lasses coming in now that I might have not seen since they were little, and they're coming back.
Amazing.
So that's really lovely as well. And my son, he's coming up 23 now, and he's never been to the doctor. He's never been used
Wow.
any antibiotics, Calpol. Once you've got the tools, and the lovely thing is, mums can prescribe for their own children.
That's what I was going to ask actually, that because I run a group on Telegram where lots of people
Yeah,
come and ask things like, oh, my baby's got a fever, or they're teething, or there's different things, or what can I do before I get to see a doctor, or what could I try in the meantime? And there seems to be quite a few remedies that go around, like maybe we talk about aconite, belladonna, and chamomilla, is it for teething?
yeah,
And I know that you talk about the first aid kit. So can you tell us a little bit about first aid, homeopathy first aid that parents could use, maybe?
yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, the homeopathic pharmacies that are in the UK, the two top ones are Helios, which is based in Tunbridge Wells. Then there's another one called Ainsworth that's in London. I think there's one well, the one I know is one around the back of Oxford Street. And I'm sure there's another one in Covent Garden.
Okay,
And they are brilliant. They're like, and you can buy these like little 18 remedy kits in like a little plastic container. They
right.
do them in bigger sizes as well. But they're always a really good thing to have in the house. It comes with like a little booklet.
Oh,
And that's what my workshops that you attended, didn't you?
yes,
Came
yeah.
to. So I do these like little what I call first aid workshop, but it's really homeopathy in the house for like the little acute illnesses, burns, teething, fevers, and it's just really empowering to give that. You spend a day where you go, I teach you a little bit about homeopathy, where it comes from, the ethics and how to prescribe, go through all of how to prescribe confidently, and then I'll go through each remedy, and so they know that people when they leave they feel really empowered. So children, you must know, Rachel, they always get sick at 1, 2 o'clock
Oh,
in the
yeah.
morning, don't they? Where
That's right, and that's when you get messages as well on the board, like, what do I do now?
what
It's
do I
3 o'clock
do?
in the morning, isn't it, when
Yeah,
fevers can spike. And it's interesting because I'll start to spot it since I've spoken and learned from you. I begin to notice patterns of when fevers might strike, or when somebody gets an upset stomach, and it begins to relate in my mind to, oh, perhaps we could try this remedy. So it is very empowering just to know that there's things you can try if your little one is unwell, or if you're unwell as well, if you have little accidents that are not enormous. And sometimes it's just like knowing that you've got something, you say, would you like to take one of these? And the kids are like, oh yes. So they stop crying if they bump themselves or whatever. And you know that it's making a difference. So that's been really, really helpful, certainly in our house.
yeah,
And
oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, I was just going to say, if a parent is worried as well, if that they've used the wrong remedy, there shouldn't be any side effects, should there, if you get it wrong?
So if you think of the body as like a little battery, we're like a little energy power packs, aren't we? So and what the remedy? So we're really dynamic beings, yeah. And the remedies are dynamic. The way that they're made is what it's in an energetic way. So what you're doing is you're trying to match the remedy with the energy of the client, of the patient. So
Right.
if you were to give the wrong remedy, that remedy won't resonate with that person. So it will just pass through. Nothing will happen at all. If you keep giving it the wrong remedy and you're not getting any reaction,
Yeah.
then you can do what is a deeper subject called proving. You can maybe start to produce. But if you start to give the repeat, say belladonna, the child's gone to bed, they're fine. They wake up at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, absolutely raging fever,
Hmm.
radiating heat, and you can go in with a belladonna every 5, 10 minutes. And after two or three, you watch the body just help fight the infection and the temperature start to come down. But if the temperature came down but you kept giving the belladonna, then that's a no-no. But as soon as the symptoms improve in homeopathy, you just stop the remedy. The body's been fed what it needs, and then yeah, the chance of the child will go back to bed and then wake up in the morning either absolutely fine or maybe a bit of sniffles or maybe a little bit of a cough, and then you go in with an appropriate remedy again. But that's how it works, really.
Oh, that's amazing. Just so nice to have on hand, isn't it? Just to
It's
think, oh,
really
I'll try
nice.
that.
It is really nice. And we've all been made to think that a fever's a really bad thing. You know, there's a real fear around the child getting a fever where
Yeah,
it's your body's first line of defense. So when you go in with things like alcohol and ibuprofen,
yeah,
you're literally taking the fever away. So if there is a nasty germ in there, that germ's like that. Ooh, it's going to have a party because it's got no fever to, to fight it off.
right. I see. So they're not actually dealing with the the problem. They're
No,
just
they're just
lowering the
masking the
fever.
symptom. Yeah.
Right, right, right. So that could be potentially really unhelpful then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can actually prolong the illness once that germ then gets hold.
yeah,
You could potentially end up lengthening the time that the person's ill. But if
right.
when you go in with the correct acute remedies with feeding the body what it needs, it's actually strengthening. And I don't know if you've seen it, Rachel. I think most parents do. Like when your child gets over something naturally, they go on leaps and bounds. They really seem to like do better at school. They seem to
Developmentally.
mature and yeah,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, sometimes now I mean I'm looking at illnesses in a very different way, and I think maybe they were just having a detox of whatever,
yeah,
and once that's gone, then as you say, they're able to progress to whatever their next
yeah.
milestone is.
They
Yeah.
really, yeah, they do. They come on leaps and bounds afterwards. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Oh, Josie, it's been so interesting. Thank you so much. Can
no,
you
it's all
tell us
right.
how we find you? And I should put links in the description, but how do we
Okay.
find you? And have you got any courses and things that we can do with you?
I'm going to start booking. I ran a few courses at the beginning of the year, which were great years ago. What's making me feel wonderful is that I used to do these courses years ago, and it used to take me weeks to fill 8 places. And now I put something out there, and then I have to do like two. So it really
It's good.
warms my heart to know that people are actually starting to look at alternative ways of treating them. So taking back responsibility of their own health, really. So I will be putting up, setting some more up. We were talking earlier, weren't we? And maybe try and get some done through the nicer months when the sun's out. We maybe sit in the garden and
Oh,
do
that'll be
do a
lovely.
workshop that day. But it's just a day. We get here about 9:30 till about 2:30, 3 o'clock, depending on people's school runs and things like that. But it's just a day. And so I will be advertising those stuff. My website is sumdea.co.uk, and that's SUMDEA.co.uk.
Oh,
I'll be putting things on there, and then yeah,
oh, thank you. Well, we'll be able to look you up there then. That's really great. Thank you so much for coming on today. And I think if you were happy to, we could do another one where we talk about pregnancy as well, because I think there's
yeah, I'd
another
love
time
to.
that might be
Yeah,
really useful. So that'd be
yeah,
fantastic.
I've had a few ladies this week ring me actually with morning sickness and constant nausea and tiredness and things like that. So there's some wonderful, wonderful remedies that are perfectly safe for mum and baby.
Oh, fantastic. That would be
So
really
yeah,
good. Good to have a chat
yeah,
about those
yeah, that'd
moving
be lovely. But
forward.
Rachel, I'd love to.
All right. Thank you, Josie. That's fantastic.
All right, you take care. Thanks for having
Take
me.
care, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye.